Everywhere around us, the same scene repeats itself. Eyes cast downward, fingers endlessly gliding across glowing glass. Eyes blurred by a constant bombardment of notifications, video content, and information that appears urgent, yet in reality is neither important nor urgent, and often not even true. They are not there to help you. They are there to keep you. They are there to possess you. Once, you used your phone to call your mother, your brother, or a friend. Today, you use it to escape from yourself, from your thoughts, from your problems. The device you carry in your pocket is no longer a tool. It is a mirror, distorted, manipulated, reflecting an image not shaped by your own choices, but by someone else's intentions. And the longer you stare into it, the less you recognize the face looking back at you. Instead, you see a warped reflection. At first glance, this appears to be ordinary daily life. But in reality, it is a quiet form of self-destruction. And the most dangerous thing about it is that it looks safe, comfortable, even entertaining. This is no accident. It is programming, psychological design, a precisely engineered system that leaves nothing to chance. Every sound, every light pulse, every movement of your finger across the screen has been carefully designed to hold your attention, to draw you into a state of passive consumption, and not for your benefit, but for someone else's profit. Because in this system, your time is a commodity, your attention is currency, and your mind, that is the target. The smartphone, once a symbol of connection, is now a digital cage. You carry it everywhere. It lies beside you as you sleep. It's the first and last thing you do before falling asleep and upon waking. Whenever there's a moment of silence, you reach for it. But this is no longer a habit. It's an addiction, invisible yet real. And what's most dangerous, we love it. Because it was designed to be loved, to be craved, to be consumed over and over again. Imagine this: every platform, every app you use isn't there just to offer you content. It's there to become your psychologist, your friend. It's there to analyze your reactions, measure your weaknesses, test your attention. Then, using algorithms, it serves you exactly what moves you most easily: shock, anger, envy, longing, everything that seizes your attention and destroys your peace. The system uses it all to bind you even tighter. It creates feelings of anger, loneliness, dissatisfaction with your life. You complain that you have no time. You do. But your attention is no longer yours. Your time is no longer yours. It's been stolen, torn into 1,000 fragments. And each of those fragments is being monetized. Your focus, your boredom, your very breath, all has become raw material for the digital machine that runs on it. In the past, slavery was physical, a chain on the body. Today, it's more sophisticated. Today, the chain is in the mind. It vibrates in your pocket. It flickers on the screen. And worst of all, we charge it ourselves, voluntarily, with a smile on our face. Do you know that feeling when you pick up your phone, open an app just to quickly check something, and an hour later, you're still there? You've forgotten your parents, your brother, sister, children, friends. That's not a problem of self-discipline. That's their victory in design. They call it an upgrade. We call it a wasted life. Every color, every effect, every notification, the result of tens of thousands of behavioral experiments and user analyses. Scientists, engineers, psychologists, and neurologists work together to create an experience that feels like a choice, but is actually control. You think you're choosing, but the algorithm chooses for you, and it chooses what shakes you the most, not what benefits you, not what you need, but what breaks you. Because that's when you're most susceptible, most vulnerable, and most profitable. You are not the customer, You are the experiment. At every moment, your data, your habits, your history, your emotions, your searches, all of it is being used to create your digital twin. A copy of you that algorithms study more deeply than you know yourself. And you're not even aware of it, because when they know what you love, they know how to make you want it even more. When they know what frightens you, they know how to keep you trapped in that emotion. When they know when you're weak, they serve you exactly what gives you false comfort. And behind it all lie interests, advertisements, money, political influence, manipulation. Aldous Huxley, over half a century ago, in his seminal work Brave New World, warned us of a dystopia that once seemed like science fiction, but is now becoming reality before our eyes. His vision of totalitarian control is not based on coercion, torture, or iron chains, but on something far more dangerous: pleasure, distraction, and deep emotional anesthesia. Huxley wrote clearly, a truly efficient totalitarian state would be one in which all the powerful executive organs of political leaders and their managerial armies control a population of slaves who do not need to be coerced because they love their slavery. And today, in the era of digital technology, that scenario is beginning to take on a new form, far more sophisticated, invisible, yet far deadlier. Modern slavery no longer requires iron shackles, chains on the wrist, or police patrols outside your door. All it takes is a shiny screen constantly vibrating in your pocket, offering small but frequent doses of dopamine in exchange for fragments of your mental freedom, your identity, your attention. You have become a prisoner of that screen, but also its active accomplice, trained to depend on it, to seek validation, to flee from the emptiness that this very technology creates. Shoshana Zuboff, one of the most influential thinkers of our time, leaves no doubt through the lens of surveillance capitalism that we live in a parasitic economy, an economy that not only uses our data, but feeds on our experiences. From every step we take in the park to the most intimate conversations we have in our own homes. Everything we do is turned into raw material for powerful algorithms that not only observe us, but attempt to predict, shape, and even predetermine our future choices. Social networks are no longer social. They are mechanisms of loneliness. In the digital crowd, people have never been lonelier. Hundreds of friends, thousands of followers, but when you turn off the screen, silence. You're left alone with your thoughts, your problems, because you no longer know how to be alone with yourself, or how to be content with who you are. You scroll endlessly, but you don't remember what you've seen. You look, but you don't see. You read, but you don't remember. Your memory has been replaced by a notification, your attention interrupted by a sound, your sense of identity altered by filters, and what's left for you. The mind becomes restless and empty. Anxiety becomes normalized. The human being, who was once the master of his own consciousness and his own life, psychologist, inventor, and philosopher B.F. Skinner already proved that uncertainty is the strongest driver of addiction. Today, every touch, vibration, or sound functions as a microdose of dopamine, making it impossible to ignore the phone, even when we know there's likely nothing important. Infinite scrolling is another key component of this architecture. In the past, web pages had an end. Today, the absence of clear boundaries causes us to completely lose track of time as we swipe our fingers across the screen, immersed in an endless hole of content. This design is no accident. It was created precisely to undermine our natural sense of when to stop. Without a visible endpoint, the human mind remains trapped, and our focus weakens. But the real and deepest manipulation happens far behind the scenes, in the silence of complex algorithms. These algorithms don't merely track every move we make, every click, every glance at the screen. They study who we are, our attention, our weaknesses, even the hidden desires we might not understand ourselves. They monitor how long we linger on a photo, which words we type in messages, the moments when we're most vulnerable, when we're lonely, angry, or tired. All of this is turned into data that fuels their growth and power. Aldous Huxley foresaw this danger, stating that the greatest triumph of a totalitarian regime is that people love their own slavery. The smartphone has become the perfect drug, not a chemical one, but a drug of infinite content that keeps us obedient, entertained, and above all, distracted. We once used technology to expand our capabilities. Today, we use it to numb our feelings. It was once a tool. Today, it is a drug. Zuboff warns clearly. Just as industrial capitalism devastated the natural environment for profit, surveillance capitalism today threatens the most sensitive realm we possess, the very essence of human being. But there is one crucial difference. We can see ecological devastation, poisoned rivers, deforested lands, polluted air, the destruction of consciousness, attention, and will. That is invisible. It happens in silence, in algorithms that change the way we think, feel, and connect. Finally, Zuboff calls on us to return to what truly makes us human: community, not likes, not notifications, not virtual acquaintances, but authentic face-to-face encounters, in silence that doesn't demand responses, in a gaze that cannot be scrolled past. Because those relationships contain what no app can create: emotional nuance, sincerity, unpredictability, presence, immediate pleasure. That is the new tool of control, no longer are batons and prisons used. Today, algorithmically designed pleasure is the weapon. In a world where attention has a price, distraction becomes the currency of power. And the saddest part, we don't consciously choose this. We accept it because we've been trained to believe it's normal. The price we pay is high. We have lost depth. Our ability to concentrate, to build long and complex thoughts, is gradually being washed away. Human relationships are replaced by superficial interactions mediated by algorithms. Even silence, so essential for mental balance, has become rare. Instead, we try to fill every second with stimuli, terrified of being alone with our own thoughts. And it isn't. It's normal to be present, normal to feel sadness, boredom, restlessness. Normal to look someone in the eye while talking, not at a screen. Normal to spend an hour without a single notification. Normal to breathe without being interrupted. But this no longer feels normal. It feels strange, terrifying, because the system has weaned us from ourselves. And so, before we ask, how do we free ourselves? We must first ask a more honest question. Do we truly want to be free? Or have we already identified so completely with our screens that the truth no longer interests us? In the next part, we will uncover what lies beneath this system, and why the most important battle of this century is the battle for attention. Because without attention, there is no choice. Without choice, there is no freedom. And without freedom, life becomes merely an algorithmic shadow of our true selves. If even a single moment of this video made you pause and reflect, don't keep it to yourself. Share in the comments. Do you notice how excessive mobile phone use affects your focus, memory, mood, your life? Have you found ways to step back, to regain control? Share with us in the comments and continue watching the next video.